In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to make a normal probability plot. And the reason why I want to do this is that it sort of quickly determines if your data actually has a normal distribution. And that's really important when we get into some of our later statistical work. If you want to, you can also do this in Minitab, and Minitab actually does this more quickly because it sort of does all the stuff that we have to calculate here behind the screens. There's actually just one little thing that we have to click for it to compute. But in order to do it in Excel or some sort of spreadsheet formula or program like I have here, what you need to do is you need to have your data. So in our case, we have 20 data points. And then what I actually have already done is I've gone in and I've sorted the data so that it's ascending from high to low. Then what you need to do is you actually have to go in and create ways to space out each and every single one of these data points. And in order to do that, because we know we have 20 points, we're just going to say, all right, we're going to divide 1 by 21, so that we can have basically 21 different spots, or 20 different spots for each of our data points, and that they're uniformly spaced. To do our next one, we just essentially add our first one to that uniformly spaced point, and then we can just drag and drop. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to convert this into a quantile. And to do that, we use the norm inverse function. So norm INV, so click that. And all we need to do is put this value in. Here, let's do, norm S. Put this value in. And this, we pull this down, gives us our quantile for every single uniformly spaced point. So then what we need to do is we actually need to go in and create a scatter plot. So there are multiple ways for you to create a scatter plot. I'm just going to show you how I have to do it in Google Spreadsheets. So I'm just going to select the sorted data because for our scatter plot, we actually have to plot the sorted data versus our quantile data. So I'm going to click on the chart here, and I need to add another range because at this point, I only have the sorted data, so I need to add the quantile data. So I click OK. And then at this point, we're going to do a scatter plot. So I'm going to click the scatter plot, and voila. We have a scatter plot of our data. And you can see that this data is not normally distributed. And it's not normally distributed because it's not a straight line. You can see here that it sort of has a nice curve. We also see that there's a giant skip in the data between 2 and 4. And then again, like we sort of have a straight line up here, but because of this piece and this piece, we can make a fairly good assumption that this data isn't normal. So now what I've done is I've actually gone in and I've taken some new data and I've created a chart so you guys could see, or a scatter plot so that you could see what an actual normal distribution would look like using this approach. And you can see that it's sort of a relatively straight line. It's not perfect, but no data is necessarily always perfectly normal. But this is actually really good, and so we can say with a fair amount of certainty that this is a normal distribution. So I hope that with this presentation you have a better idea of how to distinguish whether or not a set of data is normally distributed. Thanks.